To masterfully navigate boundaries is the skill set of maintaining the frequency of your universe. And I'm going to say this again because this is really, really vital. To masterfully or skillfully navigate boundaries is the skill set of maintaining the frequency of our universe. This is a skill set that we should have been taught from a very early age. Or it should have been a skill set that should have been fostered, because it's a skill set we all come to this planet with very naturally. We are divinity expressed through a human vessel. And we all come with our own expression of this truth. We all come with the expression, very unique expression of the universe. So we all hold our very unique frequency. We all hold the truth of the universe in our divine, unique expressions. So as children, we naturally navigate boundaries. It might not be in the most graceful way because we're still learning this skill set. But as children, and you can witness that in children, there is a very clear, I don't like that. There might be this, oh, I'm pushing you away, or no, this is mine. It's very it's very innate in children. And most of us didn't have parents that were taught to foster and maintain and master this skill set of setting boundaries. It was quite the opposite. Instead of being taught how to master these boundaries, because this is a temple. My field is a temple. My universe is a temple. And it is my highest sacred, holy responsibility to keep this temple space clean. So our parents should have been initiated into this, and our parents should have initiated us into the mastery of temple cleaning. But they couldn't do that. So what they did was quite the opposite. They basically taught us how to have less boundaries. They taught us that we have to be polite. What is politeness? Politeness is a sort of deception. Children are not innately polite. They're real. They're honest. They hit you with some truth when you least expect it. And then the parents teach them, hey, this isn't appropriate. You can't talk like that. You can't be so honest. Be more polite. Which means don't say your truth. Or mask the truth that you actually want to say, wrap it in some passive-aggressive words that sound polite. So we're basically being taught how to not be a divine expression of truth. We're being taught the opposite. We're being taught how to navigate an artificial realm. Navigate a realm where we don't honor each other's divinity. So we have to come back into this divine expression. We have to come back and master the skill set of temple cleaning. God, that's fun. Because this is where a lot of our blind spots are. And that means this is where we will see the most growth once we uncover these blind spots. Once we see, oh my God, I just forgot how to maintain the temple space. And I forgot how to let divine truth speak through me when it's necessary. I learned how to be quiet when everything inside of me wants to intervene. I learned how to be polite when fierce truth is actually the appropriate response. So we are relearning this divine skill set. And that's exciting. It's really exciting. And why, where I would love to explain the way I see it, because it's kind of metaphorically, but it really helped me to see what I was doing. So, and especially to see why the lack of boundaries is holding us back from embodying or permeating this divine truth, the I am presence, 0 point consciousness. There's no name for this frequency, but it's a very high frequency. It's the frequency of divine truth, of universal truth. And to truly embody that, we have to have boundaries. And boundaries does not mean I don't like the way you behave, you're out of my life. A boundary is not that personal. A boundary is literally just, hey, I have to have the things in place that allow me to be the highest expression of truth, which allows me to be in my universe. And whatever takes me out of my universe and I don't like it, that's a sign that, oh, I need a boundary. Because when I'm joining this other person in their universe, I don't like myself as much. I don't like the expression of myself. So apparently I'm playing in another universe that isn't as fun as mine. That's what it comes down to. So our field, our energetic body, our etheric body, our physical body is in some sorts a vehicle that moves through time and space. So I'm moving, and I'm always moving towards my highest expression, or I am in my highest expression. And this vehicle moves really fast when we're in our own frequency, okay? This vehicle when I'm allowed to be in my I am presence, in my 0 point consciousness, when I am allowed to reside in universal truth, in my universe, the frequency of my universe, it moves fast. This vehicle moves really fast through time and space, which means in that frequency, I magnetize the highest expression of my life, because my life rearranges to match and mirror this frequency. This is holy, this is sacred. I believe that we are here to anchor the highest expression of truth. That is our responsibility. And if I am in my presence, if I am living in the frequency of my universe, I naturally magnetize the highest expression. That frequency will call forth the highest expression in someone else. This frequency is letting my physical reality know I am ready for the highest expression of this universe. That's what I mean when I say this vehicle is moving fast. Your experience as a human feels slower, but in a time and space continuum, and apologies if I'm not using the right words, I'm just going with whatever or whichever way I can express that in the very best way. In this time and space, I will see the highest expression magnetize faster. That's what I mean by that. So now why, if all of us were in their own universal frequency, their unique expression of truth, we would see a fast shift. But now what happens is that we have to master, or a lot of us haven't yet mastered, the skill set that it takes to maintain this frequency. Because that skill set requires interaction with other beings. And in our childhood, we've been taught what is appropriate, what's not appropriate. And to maintain this state of being, it might require some interaction that is uncomfortable for what we've learned. Because it is really, truly, unapologetically claiming this space. Because we recognize that it's our highest responsibility to be in that space. And everything that is taking us further away from it is something we have to be very aware of and consciously be aware of. Do I want to engage in that or not? And a lot of us are being dragged into other universes, into other vehicles, without even consciously being aware of that. It's part of the divine play to say, hey, invite me into your universe. I want to see what this experience is like. That's the divine play. If we consciously engage in that, that's beautiful. If you consciously want to dabble into someone else's or into someone else's universe that might not be of that high expression, that's beautiful too. We've all been there. We've all done that. The only problem is if we don't do it consciously. As long as all of this is conscious, go ahead and play. That's what you're here for. Play in someone else's universe, but be aware that you're doing it. So first, we master the skill set of maintaining the frequency of our universe. And then we can play. But right now, what a lot of us have done in the past is we unconsciously agreed to experience the frequency of someone else's universe. And we're still doing that. We're still experience the universe of our mother. And it's a vehicle. It's almost like we're like, oh, I'm getting in the car with you. And we're in 20 different cars. And none of it is ours. And our car is moving really slow. Because maybe it's a shitty metaphor. But I'm going somewhere with this and I'm trying to paint a picture here. Okay? Let me actually paint a picture. So this is your vehicle. And someone else comes into your life. And maybe you alter your ways of being. Maybe you have to hold back on your truth a little bit. Or you didn't speak your truth, your highest expression, when you were meant to, or when something in your body told you to do it. So right now, what you did in that moment, you jumped into someone else's vehicle. You agreed to someone else's universe. Because in your universe, you would have spoken that truth. But you didn't. So silently you said, hey, I'm not inviting you into my experience, but I'm jumping into your experience. Does that make sense? When we hold back, or when we don't express our highest truth in front of someone, energetically, without words, we're saying, hey, I am not inviting you into my universe, because my universe would be my highest expression and I'm not sharing that with you. So that means I'm jumping into your experience. I am coming to your universe. And so now our experience that usually oscillates on very high speed, moves through time and space fast, is slowed down because we're jumping into a different vehicle that is a little slower. And do you see how we do this unconsciously in so many ways? That is what it means to reclaim our power, our sovereignty. When we unconsciously jump into someone else's universe, jump into someone else's vehicle, we are not fully in our vehicle anymore. Because it's almost like one leg is in here, one leg is in here, and we're trying to juggle this. And I hope this makes sense, because this is really, really important. Really important. In how many ways are we doing this? In how many relationships did we agree to, not consciously, but silently agree to experience someone else's universe? And let me tell you one thing. Unless you're surrounded by very, very evolved beings and very conscious people, very real ass people, unless that is the sum total of your surrounding, chances are high that the universe you just jumped into is not as well maintained as yours. It takes a lot of awareness. It takes a lot of also discipline to cultivate this state of being, to cultivate this truth, to be in this frequency of truth. That means you take a lot of responsibility. You take a lot of responsibility for your temple, for your beingness. And chances are high that other people do not maintain their temple space as well as you do. So when you're agreeing to someone else's universe, instead of staying in this temple, you're jumping into a basement that is musty and dusty and just ratchet. It's an extreme example, but most people's universes are not well maintained because most people are not as aware yet. So you stay in your golden temple. Because also, you're not doing them a solid by jumping into their basement. You're doing them a solid by creating boundaries, by speaking your truth. Because by speaking your truth, now what you do is you invite them into your temple. Before that, by just silently agreeing to their universe, you're not even giving them a chance to get a taste of what your frequency is like. So you're actually withholding something very vital from them. Instead of inviting them into your golden temple, you're like, nah, you're not getting in, but I'm gonna jump into your basement for whichever reason. And now you're both just hanging out in the basement, and I don't know what the hell you're doing there, but it's not fun. What you could have done is giving them a chance to invite them into your temple by setting a boundary, by speaking your truth when your whole body felt like speaking truth, by maybe saying, well, whatever you're saying right now doesn't resonate with me. Or maybe saying, hey, I don't allow that. Or hey, if you want to interact with me, this is the level of interaction, or this is the level of honesty I require. You didn't do any of these things. If you do them, if you are in your truth, you give them a chance to jump in there with you. Because now they can react both ways. They can either say, nah, I'm gonna stay in my basement. Or they can say, ooh, this is new. I don't know this frequency, but I like it. Show me more. And then you can initiate them into your golden temple. And what if through your golden temple they see, ooh, shit, I like that. I want a golden temple. I gotta step my game up. Okay? But we can no longer abandon our golden temple unconsciously and jump into other people's basements. Before that, I used the metaphor of the vehicle. Like, you have this phenomenal electric car. Not a Tesla, though. Not a Tesla. We're speaking about something else. Okay, you have this phenomenal electric car. this vehicle that can fly and that can bilocate and move through time and space. And you can see everything, and it's just beautiful, it's phenomenal, the music is bomb, okay? And you're jumping into a raggedy old Acura. Nah, we don't do this. We invite people into our spaceship vehicle, fucking phenomenal music. We invite people into our golden temple. And every time you are not speaking your truth, every time you're not setting a boundary, you're missing a chance of inviting someone or initiating someone into a frequency that they might really enjoy, and they just didn't know that this is attainable, okay? So our job is to maintain the frequency of our universe, of our vehicle, of our temple. Take what resonates, leave all else behind. I'm painting a picture, and I hope it makes sense. I think it does. So now, all we have to do is become aware of when we do not speak our truth. It's kind of simple, because our body will tell us, okay? Our body will tell us. Let me give you practical examples, because I personally love practical examples. That's how I understand and integrate things in the very best way. There are conversational boundaries. I live in Sedona. I go hiking a lot. And there's a hiking trail 5 minutes from my house. And there is a friend of us that lives there. He's a cool dude. You know, he's the OG generation. He takes care of ancient artifacts, of dragon eggs. He's a really cool dude. But he's really grumpy. And he's more on the timeline of all is doomed. We're all fucked. Okay? So he lived right next to this hiking trail. So I see him, I speak to him, and the first time I meet him, all he does is complain. He complains about the houses in Sedona and how everything is so expensive, and that he has to leave his house because they now are renovating it and they want to make it into an Airbnb, and he just complains. And I was listening, and by listening a little too long, because I listened to this for 2 minutes, but there's a certain point when everything in my being is like, yo bro, this is BS. But I didn't say that. So I basically fed into his whole story, listened to this complaint for 10 minutes, when my truth is, yo, eternal trust in life. And I didn't communicate that. And then I just left him with just a little tidbit of like, everything's gonna be fine. I know that. You got this. You being taken care of. I left with that, but still I allowed him to penetrate my universe with a little too much of complaining and not trusting. You know, so I slipped into his little raggedy vehicle. I came back the next time, like literally a week later, I met him again in front of his door. And he's like, oh my God, you won't believe what happened. I have a house right in nature, right next to the creek. It's way more beautiful. It's cheaper. And I look at him and I'm like, dude, of course, that's how life works. So we're having this little moment, and I'm teasing him a little bit because I'm like, remember when you complained? Remember, life's got you. But sometimes the universe works like 11:55, okay? Like last minute. And so the next time I'm seeing him, and I'm going somewhere with this story, next time I'm seeing him, he's back into complaining mode. And I stopped him right in his tracks. Like that was the time when I'm like, now I'm inviting you into my universe. And if you want to come, you can come. If not, you can stay where you're at. Because even though he just had this massive miracle and life showing him how much he's taken care of and how miraculous life works, yet again, like a week later, he forgot and he's back into complaining. He's back complaining, like literally looping an old narrative over and over again. It's not conscious, it's a loop. And I stop him right in his tracks, and I tease him, but it was still with love. So a boundary can look like, stop talking to me like that, or a boundary can also be playful. So when he started, I looked at him and I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right here, because whatever you're about to say is not true. And I look at him and I'm like, remember, I allowed you to complain the first time. I told you everything's gonna be fine. You experienced a miracle. Life has your back. So whatever you're about to say, I don't want to hear it, because you know in your heart of heart it's not true. And he looked at me and he was startled. And he didn't really know what to do with that, because probably he's not used to people like addressing his loop as direct as I did. And I spoke to his highest truth, and I'm like, I know you know that what you're about to say is BS, so quit it. And he looked at me and he's like, he smirked, and he didn't know really what to do with that. So that was our conversation. And then I proceeded to my hike. But that was an example, okay? That was a beautiful example of how the first time I allowed his universe, basically, or I slipped into his universe. And even though I'm very connected to my truth, when we allow this, or when we allow to immerse into this frequency, or when we jump into this vehicle, it's almost like someone's hotboxing us in their car. Like when we're in the vehicle and they're smoking crack, we might take a hit. Like we smell it, and all of a sudden we forget that we live in a miraculous, benevolent, divine universe, because we silently agreed to jump into their vehicle, jump into their car, jump into their universe. Very, very important. When do we do this? So 1 or 2 more practical examples for this. Have a look at your digital boundaries, okay? This gets really into the nitty-gritty, into the details of your life. So, on social media, if there's a comment that doesn't sit with you right, if there's someone following you that doesn't feel right, you are allowed to block and delete. And I know a lot of us have this, we feel something. Yeah, we have this initial impulse or this initial intuition of that something feels off. And instead of trusting that wholeheartedly and fully, without judging it, without questioning it, we then have this, it's really sweet actually. It's a sweet part that's like, oh, but what if I'm projecting, and what if that is not their energy but it's mine? No. If someone likes your picture and this guy or this girl or whoever feels off, you are allowed to block this person. If someone comments under your post and it doesn't feel comfortable, you can block this person. If someone speaks to you in a certain way and they're saying something, but the energy behind it is very different, trust your body, trust your intuition. You are able to perceive subtle realms. And I know oftentimes when you let a person know, hey, you just said this, but what I'm feeling is this. A lot of times people will negotiate with you and they will tell you, oh no, but that's not what I was doing. Listen, 99% of the times you're right. 100% of the times you're right. Okay, you can trust your intuition. It's not that you are wrong. It's that it takes a lot of awareness to admit, to look as deep. And a lot of people are not yet ready to look as deep. That when you call them out and you're like, hey, you said that one thing, but I felt something else. What are you actually saying? Like, what is this? You deserve people in your universe that then sit, process, and come back to you with a, ooh, you know what? Yeah, you picked up on that. That was right. I did do that. I apologize. I freaking love you. That is the kind of interaction we deserve. If you have people that you can't do this with, if you have people that are not on that level yet where they can really go within and observe themselves and be really responsible, then if you still have these people in your surrounding, you're in a different vehicle. You jumped into their universe. Because your frequency, your universe requires truthful interactions. People you can get really real with. And that also means, hey, I can call you out on that. And you can call me out on that. Please call me out. If I expect my universe to hold me accountable, I have to hold my universe accountable. One thing that my beloved always says, and I love this because it's so true. And if there are people in your circle that you can't do this with, be very aware where their place is in your life. Because trust me, there are people who would feel so freaking honored to enter your universe. There are people who would walk into your golden temple and they'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm home. Your temple kind of feels like my temple. I love this. That is the kind of interaction you deserve. So trust your intuition. Again, if someone sends you a message and something feels off, trust your gut, trust your intuition, trust the truth. Trust the frequency of your universe, because your universe can pick up on the most subtle BS. Your universe picks up on distortions of frequency. You can trust that. Doesn't mean if you call people out, they might deny it. Not because they want to deceive you, but because they're deceiving themselves and they don't yet have the capacity to admit that or even see that. And that's fine. That's their experience. But let them drive their vehicle. Don't jump into this vehicle with them. So really trust that. and take action. So if you see someone commenting and it feels iffy, it feels icky, it feels weird, delete that comment. Block this person. It's fine. It's nothing personal. It's just like, I don't necessarily want to display the frequency of your universe in my universe, because as you're entering my social media, you're playing in my universe. And if you bring poop into my universe, I'm gonna clean this mess up. Trust me. You're not gonna throw poop into my golden temple. Comprende? Sí. So that is your responsibility. You're a housekeeper, you're a temple keeper, you're a senator. That's a sacred job. A senator, a janitor, all of the things for your golden temple. So if someone throws poop into your golden temple, we remove that poop. Got it? Very important. That means if someone comments anything passive aggressive, if someone comments anything sleazy, if someone likes your post but you feel like they have ulterior motives, delete and block this person. We remove the poop out of our golden temple. The digital world, our social media platforms are a portal. So that's why I'm saying that. Just because it's not in real life, it is still real. So of course, everything I'm saying goes for everything else in the universe, in your physical experience. Life deserves you in your temple space frequency, okay? So give people a chance to enter that. But if you jump into their universe first, you don't even give them a chance to taste yours. And goodness, we need more of that. We need more of your precious frequency. We need your unique expression of universal truth. I would like to taste that. And mine is juicy. People deserve to get a taste of this, but only if they honor it, only if they bring reverence to it. And if they don't, not yet. Not yet, baby boo, but maybe later. Try again. My doors are open for those who honor what's inside those doors. That's also very, very literally speaking sexual boundaries. Learning to honor your body, that if your body says, not quite yet, you communicate playfully, not quite yet. So this goes into so many areas of your life. I love you so much. Please share that temple space. Please, let's all master boundaries. The skill set of boundaries, the skill set of maintaining the frequency of your universe. So we get to play and taste different universes that are fun. I love you so much.